Hello and welcome, I'm Raziel, and so today I want to talk about my favourite part of the hobby. I enjoy the lore in all aspects. I really do enjoy reading about the dystopian age in the rule books. I like reading the conquest lore. I like reading the Kings of War lore. And I find it enjoyable. I really do. I find painting to be the least enjoyable part for me because I really have to be in the mood for it. It is very relaxing to sit down and paint. I'm not a patient person when it comes to stuff like this. I have ADHD for a start, so having to wait for the certain colours to dry, it can get quite tedious for me, and that's just it. It's just that part. It's just sitting there waiting for the models to dry. So when it comes to my favourite part, it's always been the building. Now I've been building models for decades now. My painting still sucks, by the way. And the building to me is the best part. And I have to go to talk about Star Wars at the moment because when I was younger, I loved Star Wars. I remember watching it the first time. It was on Christmas Day, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the bit I enjoyed most was the starship battles, the space battles. That was my favourite part. But it was the vehicles that really interested me because the X-Wing's wings aren't curved, they're flat. The Y-Wing was easily destroyed, even though meant to be this warhorse of the Rebel Alliance, I should say. But it was always destroyed. I kind of noticed this from the start, that all the Y-Wings on the attack on the Death Star got destroyed. And that they, things like the X-Wing survived, and it was like, why did the X-Wing survive, and stuff like that. So the technicalities of it really interested me. And later in life, I'd start buying Star Wars books. Now, I'd buy the novels, mainly the Rogue Squadron ones, because they were the best books and the best games. Yes, I will die on that hill. They are better than Star Wars, the old Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars, the Old Republic, whichever one it is. And yeah, I prefer those again because there's a lot more technicality in it. Because when you're picking your ship in Rogue Leader, for example, you can hear what the ship does. You get this little brief overview of what the ship is and how it works. And I loved that. I thought that was fascinating. I thought that was absolutely cool. So moving on to later in life, I'd buy the books, like I said. But I would buy the more technical books. I really love technical lore. Be anything. One of my favourite pictures in the Dystopian Age series right now is of the Empire tank blueprint, which is in the rulebook. I love that picture. I think it's fantastic. And just seeing this blueprint for a tank, really, I just freaking love it. I really do. It was so exciting for me when I was reading the lore to see this blueprint. It put such a big smile on my face. And with Star Wars, I bought a lot of the cross-section books. I still have them as now, so I can see how they worked inside. And again, it's all about the technicality of it all. So this is why building is my favourite part, the most enjoyable of them all, because you can get a good idea of how these things work. It doesn't matter if it's an organic being or a vehicle or a walker. I really like building walkers because you do get a better understanding on how everything works. You can see how even if it's static and it's not moving, you can still see how the hydraulics would work on, say, a dreadnought or an Imperial Knight, and whether it works and how it moves. And while you're building these things and you're assembling them, say like a tank or like I said, an Imperial Knight, you can get this idea of where the engines are, how the legs move, how the arms move, how the people sit, and all of that. And that just really, I find that bit so interesting because while you're building it, you're kind of learning a lot more about it at the same time. You're not just a bystander looking at something, you're building it and you can see all the little intricate details on how it works. Even with some of the engine stuff you can see, where the pipes lead to and how it powers with like the events and power cores that you get to put on your models. You get to see how this all works and what powers it, how it's powered, how the driver sits. All of this is what I really enjoy. And Bolt Action do this too, and I think Bolt Action is really good for this with their armoured cars, that you get to assemble the axle separately, and it's not molded onto the vehicle. It's a separate part. So you can see how the axle works and stuff like that. It's not that detailed or that intricate, but you get this good idea of how it is. And this also goes on to organics, especially in aliens or non-humans, animals. The way you assemble them, you assemble them the same way. You can see where the joints line up, or it's actually why I really like skeletons. You can see where the joints line up, and you can see where their muscles are, and you can see how they work the same way. Even with the NIDs, you get to see a lot of this and how their bodies are made and how they're created and how they work. It's something that I find so intrinsically interesting, and building gives me that sort of insight to how it works, and I think it's amazing. And also, there's this cathartic side of it where you can get a lot of anger out clipping a lot of stress out clipping the models and putting it together, and just seeing it click nicely into place and having that release of having it done properly. And again, it just feels good to build these models. It feels great to have it fully assembled. I've said before, I'm not a big fan of single mold models. I'm not a big fan. It's because a lot of the fun's taken out. But when it comes to like building that's the thing. I've got some Keris Moretti here. You can see how the magic works with their weapons. Keris, not Keris Moretti. Moretti would be the alternative build. But you can see how the weapons work and how their magic works. And you get this really good idea of how they actually move. And you can get into your head how these creatures move, how they drift along across the battlefield. Because you assembled the smoke and the goo, eerie bits at the bottom. You get this close example of how it moves, and that's why I really enjoy building. But building is probably the best part for me, and I really do enjoy it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you all are having a lovely day, and I hope to see you all again soon. Have a great one, and just have a great time, guys. I love seeing my regular viewers coming back every day and watching my videos and leaving a little comment. I know you don't always agree with me, and I'm always happy to have these conversations, and if you disagree with me, you know that. And if you wish to save money on your wargaming, advertising time by the way, there's Wayland Games down below, which you can save up to 20% on your wargaming, or free delivery after £20, and they have a big selection there. There's also, what else is there? There's also, Forbidden Planet for your comics, DVDs, mangas, etc. There is my merchandise, t-shirts, comics, bags, stickers, and all that. All the artwork is done by me. Comic, which was written and drawn by me. And Skyforge, give those guys a click because they deserve it to go up the Google algorithm. And finally, Patreon, because business. Bye-bye.